So that's a good conversation. So let's move on. We're gonna jump into the sports world right now. As you guys know, there's some things going on with um, uh, brother Deshaun, brother Watson. Um, Watson. Deshaun. Um, 22 accusations of sexual assault. Um, Also, though, just signed a new deal with the Cleveland Browns. I believe 230 million over
5 years, I
5 years,
believe. Yeah,
guaranteed like 80. Oh, guaranteed so much money. I can't remember how much he's
Something
guaranteed.
like that.
I think it was almost over $100 million. I
Yeah, it
think.
was 100
Yeah,
million guaranteed.
guaranteed
Yeah,
a lot of money.
And this year he only gonna make $1 million.
Right, this year they did that on purpose because they know he's gonna miss games.
Right.
right.
They
But,
know
they,
he's gonna miss games.
but not just that, they know that he gonna get fined.
Yeah, yeah.
You know he gonna get fined. So guess what? They can't touch that guaranteed money. They can't touch any money he ain't made yet. They only can touch what he's gonna make this year. And it's only a certain percentage. So that he gonna take $1 million, but he can use his contract to live off his future earnings.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. All this pretty much came out after I believe that
He was cleared.
he was
He wasn't indicted.
right. He wasn't indicted. So Meldrick, I know you read up on it, right? So I'm gonna let you kind of explain what's all been going on around Deshaun Watson. And then after that, if you want to get into the Rooney Rule, the new Rooney Rule, we can talk about that, and then we got our last topic that we'll jump.
Okay. Well, I mean, what we basically just said, so like I said, he's got those 22 allegations, and then the way that the Cleveland set up his contract, like you just said, that they already know he's going to get some consequences, where he's going to miss games or he's going to get fined and all that stuff. So like they set his contract up to where it's not going to affect him or them too much, right at the top. So if he has to miss games, I mean, I guess they'll be fine. They won't have to worry about losing any money, So that was kind of crazy how they conveniently set his contract up like that, So they were there. It's like they were waiting for him to be okay. So he's not indicted. So let's go ahead and sign him. We'll guarantee him a bunch of money, but we're going to set it up like this for just in case that they say that he's going to get suspended, he's going to get fined or whatever, and the NFL only gets so much money, So yeah, that was when I first heard that was kind of crazy to me. And I was like, oh, they not dumb over there. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. So, but and I think so. I want to say, let me look to see if I didn't read it, but I want to say I heard that. So it's the new Rooney Rule about because the old one where they want to say interview black coaches and they want to make sure that they get interviewed, to have a possibility of getting a head coaching job. Mm-hmm. So I think now they want to say people of color and also women getting a chance to be a part of an NFL team on the offense, because a lot of times they were saying that if they did get hired, it'd be like defensive side or like back office, so not nothing that's up front. So I guess that's what the rule is now, that you have to give the opportunity of somebody of color or a woman, opportunity to be able to be up front, and a part of the main workings of the NFL team.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
so
you're
I
right.
So were you trying to get our opinions on that, Braxton?
And let's go back just for a little bit. If you guys, I don't know if you guys want to touch on Deshaun, y'all can if y'all want to. But I know there was a lot of talk about, him getting this contract and those 22 accusations out there still against him. I believe just the civil ones are only the only ones he's dealing with right now, those accusations. So I don't know if you guys had anything on that or even wanted to touch that. I just wanted to bring it up just because it is a big thing going on right now.
Right. And I heard, yeah, and I heard that I want to say they said that he had another accusation come up somewhere else. I can't remember exactly where they said, or somebody else had said that he had done something, and it was basically another accusation come up where I'd have to go look at it again to see what exactly. So it had something else come up, on top of the 22 accusations that he's already dealing with. So I'm like, man, you just like he can't get away from.
He gonna probably be paying. He just get prepared. You're gonna hear something like a $22 million settlement. Each one will go get $1 million. The problem is that with the numbers so high, when you have 22 people, it's almost like the Bill Cosby effect. I mean, Bill Cosby has some people that people just couldn't like. It's not one or two, and it was the same type of people. He had all these different massage people, and it was the same deal. So I think what Cleveland did was that, from my understanding, they hired a private investigator to go look into it. So Cleveland was like, if he doesn't get prosecuted, and looking at it, checking out the story, we think he can weather this out. But whether or not he did or not is not gonna be the issue. We know that he's in trouble. He's going to have to pay for it. It's about what he's going to do in the future. That's really going to affect everything else. Because if he doesn't do anything else and he just stays quiet, he just stays at home. If Cleveland hires basically a babysitter to a guy that's going to be with him, make sure he stays out of trouble. And what don't make any sense to me is that, these guys have all this money in the world, and they go and put themselves in this position. They're making millions and millions of dollars. They have women thrown at them all the time, and then they go do stuff like this, and it never quite made sense to me, because you can have your pick of any woman that's going to come around you.
Right. And here's my opinion, Preston, on that. Like you have this money, you could pay somebody to come to your home, and when they come to your home, you could have a contract set up where it has to be signed. Yeah, NDA, and you have them sign it and say, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm paying for, and this is what's going to happen, and you sign it, and I sign it, and that's a legal documentation of whatever. So if you go back and say, oh, something happened, nope, it didn't happen because you signed this contract,
So, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're that bad, I don't want to sit here and be like, Rev's telling them to go buy women. No, that's not what I'm saying. Right? But if you're that bad about it, that you are constantly having to go touch that you're having all these at least 22 different people doing your massage. First of all, I'm only if I got that money, I'm hiring somebody that's going to be my main person.
All the time.
The only person that's going to come in, and this is your job that you're going to do. You're going to give me my massage. So at least nobody can say I did anything. And then if I needed that bad, that I'm going to pay a woman to come massage and I'm going to sexually harass her, how about instead I just go ahead and hire somebody that can come and fulfill that carnal need rather than me doing the crazy thing. If you got it that bad, because you risking so, it never made any sense how people can risk so much and be so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just sitting up here thinking, if he just hired somebody, be some old woman, and get on up here on this thing here. Let me rub you down before you gonna do it. Oh yeah.
Hey, listen. Tell you what, I went to Hawaii. I had an old Asian woman, and she just started, get up there. And she was rubbing it out. I was like, oh, she did a good job. 6 times. I was like, good. Go get you one of my old Asian ladies and let them go ahead and rub your back.
Yeah.
Get you. Who was it? Was it what's the name? She walked on George's back. Weezy. Was it Weezy? Or she did she walked
Mr.
on
Bentley. He would step on Mr. Bentley's back when his back went out.
Oh, okay. I thought it was it has somebody walk on your back.
Yeah.
You making millions of dollars, man, and
Right.
you make
Don't use no discretion.
even more. Here's the crazy part. He in Texas. He was a part of Houston, Texans, man.
Yeah, Houston. Well,
He was gonna make even more. I mean, look at that. Dak made more in his first 4 years outside of the team when endorsements he did for the team.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, he can't. Ain't nobody gonna want him to endorse nothing. You know what I mean? And so now
sponsors or nothing like that.
And his only living is gonna come from
football.
From football. And meant that's over. He can't make anything else. And all he can do is invest it. Well, he's gonna have a good chunk of his money tied up in litigation. And so, like, you have to make responsible decisions. Don't put yourself in those positions.
Right.
Period.
I think that's what he's
or get you a woman and get married or something. I mean, like, dang.
Yeah,
I think
he got a girl.
I
honestly think
about to get married.
Yeah, I honestly think that's more PR than anything else. I guarantee you, because now he's getting married. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna settle that." A lot of times when it comes to these people who do stuff like that, it's not even about the woman, the need of a woman. It's more about power.
Yeah.
And then
I can do this. Yeah,
I can do this type of deal to this person, and there's nothing that they can do about it. Mm-hmm. But today's day and age, I mean, with Harvey Weinstein and everything else, you would think that people would be like, "No, you know what?
Right.
I ain't gonna risk it. If I gotta feel this power, I'll pay somebody, and then I can use that because you can pay somebody." To be in today's world, you can pay somebody and they'll allow you to have that power over them.
Right.
You get your thrills off that way if you need to. Right. But you gotta move smarter. You can't be doing
stupid. You're right. He's gonna definitely have to walk the straight and narrow now. That this has come out. And I mean, just Deshaun Watson in the past. I mean, when this came out, I was mine. Like it blew me away. And I was like, Deshaun, like, for real? Right. Like he never gave me that.
Yeah, he never came off as that type of person.
He gave you that good boy image, like Will. He gave you that good boy image, like Will Smith.
Right, he gives you that good boy like Will Smith.
Like Will Smith. We see how that's going. Oh, as far as that Rooney Rule,
every now and then.
As far as that Rooney Rule, I really don't think it's gonna make a difference. I don't think it's gonna make a difference. Because if all it is just adding women to the situation.
And that's all it is.
Yeah, the other thing
they don't have to hire them. They're gonna do the same thing they did with Brian Flores. Matter of fact, it makes it easier now because now if you only gotta do 2. So that means you bring in a woman or a black person or a Hispanic or a minority. And now, hey, I've covered the thing. And even though this person may be well qualified, go get me the offensive line coach that nobody know of from this sucky old team over here, and we'll make him head coach. Yeah. Because we're going to get, like, the dudes that they hired down in Miami.
Exactly.
Nobody heard his name. And they hired, was it McDonald?
I think it's like McDonald, something like that. But the guy in Miami, he's a minority.
I think that was convenient.
Yeah.
Because he's biracial and nobody knew. Like he had to tell, look, if you gotta tell people you black.
Right. And
you know what I mean? I gotta tell everybody, yes, I'm black. So I check off the box.
Yeah.
And like nobody kind of like knew who he was, and he wasn't on the top list of people. You're talking about you didn't want the black coach as running the offense for Kansas City. Exactly. You don't want that guy?
Yeah.
He don't get a job nowhere in the NFL.
And he should.
And Quinn
more
interview for jobs after only a year with the Cowboys as the defensive coordinator, and he messed up in Atlanta. Yeah, he went to a Super Bowl, but we all see how that Super Bowl ended, and Dan Quinn was the coach.
Yeah.
And then we seen how far Atlanta went down after that.
Mm-hmm.
Where Atlanta was becoming a joke. And he just looked up, became the defensive coordinator, and then he was getting offers to go other places. That don't even make any sense. And instead of giving these other people, or how about Houston, firing their black coach after only having him for what, a year?
Yeah.
And the stuff that he was doing while not having a quality quarterback.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still coming out to win games, and they weren't giving him any tools, and they fired him after 1 year. They fired Brian Flores after 2 years with Tua, and Tua wasn't even that good.
And we're going to pay him if he lost games, so that way they could be the top round pick, the number 1 round pick.
But Dallas kept Jason Garrett for what, 10 years?
12 years.
Don't tell me that. Tell me where that makes sense. They will keep a white losing coach before they try a black winning coach, and that don't even make any sense to me.
They don't want to give us that. They don't want to give us that power.
But it's the club, right? You got this
Good boy club.
How is the league?
Not a lot of minority owners either.
Yeah, how is the league got 72% of its players is black,
It's
and there's
80
only
something.
one black head coach.
Yeah.
He's one of the and arguably he's one of the best coaches in all of football.
Right.
Who is it?
You can say that he's probably in
Mike
most
Tomlin,
people's top 10.
Mike Tomlin, yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin.
Some people may even put him in top 5, but he's definitely up there.
But you got I would say too, look at the organization, the Steelers, the way they're ran. They're a very stable organization. They don't go through coaches a lot. You don't see them. They don't have a new head coach every, so often. So they're very well ran organizations. Most of those organizations are not ran like.
No, they don't. But I have a feeling if Mike Tomlin let's say Mike Tomlin got fired today, I still think Mike Tomlin would have a harder time getting a head coaching job than Mike McCarthy, who got the Dallas job after getting fired from Green Bay in the losing season.
Yeah.
And he had a better quarterback than Tomlin had. So than Tomlin had last year with Ben Roethlisberger. So you mean to tell me, like I said, and we see as Dallas fans, we see the problem with Mike McCarthy. We like, listen, I want to get rid of him. We was hoping Sean Payton, they figured out a way to get Sean Payton here.
Right.
Man, they was like, Jerry needs to go from New Orleans or something.
Payton ain't going to put up with that Jerry Jones.
Dan Quinn for now. I don't care. Like, get rid of
I'm not lying. Look, they won't. We would kill for Sean Payton. Everybody knows it. And he got a good relationship with Jerry. Oh, yes.
But Sean Payton he ain't gonna put up with that Jerry BS. You do.
No, what the speculation was that he was really good. He's really good with the Joneses. Okay. And so because he's got it in, he's almost like a Jason Garrett, but because it's Sean Payton, he will probably have more freedom than any other coach had. It's not going to be like when they hired Bill Parcells, and Bill Parcells took freedom from it. No, I honestly think if Sean Payton came here, Sean Payton would get the freedom. Not to mention Sean Payton would come into a team that's pretty well built out. Mm-hmm. Now, this was before we lost a ton of people off of defense. I don't know what the
defense, yeah.
I don't know what Jerry Jones over here thinking. He's killing me every time I look up.
Winning is, what is that he said when he first bought the team? Winning is the game. Winning is what we're going to do.
It's
been a long time.
It's been a long time.
The one person that needs to get fired, you can't fire because he owns the team.
Right.
He's one of the worst general managers in all of football with all the mistakes that he keep on making. You keep on letting these people go. Your defense was arguably becoming one of the best, coming really, really good, a really awesome defense. and you need to fix some things on your offense, shore up some things. You need to get Dak back on the stuff, get another quarterback coach, something. Because Dak was almost at the end of the season, Dak was becoming your weakest point. Dak and Zeke. And they did nothing to shore up those things so far. And then they let Amari go. And then they lost
Gregory.
They lost Gregory and
Smith.
And then they lose D-Law.
Did
they signed D-Law. They signed D-Law.
Did they get him signed back?
I think they signed him back, or they're about to.
No, he ain't.
I hadn't seen anything about him going.
Maybe
it looked like that because at one point they were talking about they may lose him, but they let Gregory go. Now, the truth be told, it's gonna hurt, but it's not the worst thing because you still got Parsons on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
But now you can make Parsons be dedicated to being a pass rusher instead of trying to make him play multiple roles. And just let him be that pass rusher that everybody wants him to be, where he's taking out quarterbacks. And you got D-Law and Parsons. If you line up D-Law on one side and Parsons on the other, that's going to be hard to play against.
Yeah.
And then you just got to shore up. Now the other problem is that you ain't got no corners really.
Right. That's something they be addressing the draft. Hopefully.
They need to address their corners in the draft. And I'll be honest, I still think we need to address our running game. I don't think Zeke is Zeke no more.
The offensive line.
Give it to Mike Pollard. That boy did good this season, last season.
Well,
he's a good back.
If they do address the offensive line, we probably can make it with Pollard. We can make it with Pollard and Zeke.
I think Zeke.
I just think Jerry is too nostalgic.
Yeah, I know. I think we can make it with both of them if they address the offensive line, though.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely got to shore up that offensive line. There was too many things going on.
Yeah.
And they got the receiving core, to be honest with you. Everybody was stepping up.
Yeah.
And they lost Amari. But
didn't they get rid? Who else left? Cedric Wilson.
Wilson left too.
That's right. Yeah.
That hurt. That's gonna hurt. But you got CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb is now your number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got what's his name?
We're gonna get that other Diggs.
Oh, Schultz. Yeah, the tight end Schultz.
Mm-hmm. You got Schultz.
Yeah.
And then and the whole
Michael Gallup.
And you still got Michael Gallup. So Schultz is there and he can fit in and just use him as a receiver at times. So you just really need a good third, because Michael Gallup gonna be number 2. So you need a good third. So you don't have to spend a lot of capital on getting somebody that can run a route, because that's what Dak honestly needs. He needs good route runners.
Mm-hmm.
People who's gonna run that route, be where you're supposed to be, and he just throws it to that position. People that can run around and fight for the ball. And that's what Dak needs. He needs some people that he can just throw it up to, like he did a couple times with CeeDee Lamb. And he needs that offensive line so he got time in the pocket where he can just pick people apart.
Because those receivers, you can pick those up in the draft. Because it's like skill positions like receivers and running backs, those you may not have the top tier come out, but you can pick up somebody and they work hard in camp and all that, and you can build them right.
You train them. If they run good, if you see the talent there where they consist on the routes, and maybe it's they need to work on their speed or something like that, or they have trouble getting off the line, but they get to where they're supposed to get to. You can work with that. You can train some techniques and get them to move certain ways. So there's no question about that. And then the only other thing, they just need to shore up their corners, because I love Trayvon Diggs, but the problem is that he's horrible in coverage sometimes.
Yeah,
because here's the thing about Trayvon Diggs, he's high risk, high reward, because what he does, he likes to jump routes, he likes to guess. And if he guesses right, boom, great big play. But if he guesses wrong,
it's bad.
It's a big play the other way.
Play for the team.
They figured, but now they've watched them and they figured it out. So all they gotta do is make him jump,
Yeah.
If they just pump fake, make him jump that route, and then bam, whoever's on Trayvon Diggs is going to the house.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to settle down. He's gonna have to calm down and just kind of like sit in the pocket and just stick with these
Just be
wide receivers and just and get coverage. But they definitely got to get some corners because their secondary has been a problem for years. And we thought Trayvon Diggs was the answer. We really did. I thought Trayvon Diggs was the answer, but
he is for one side of the field. But you have to address the other side of the field and in the deep part of the field. Yeah. So your other corners and your safeties. That's what you need to address.
I don't think we've had a really good safety since Roy Williams. My personal opinion.
But we've been saying that about Dallas for a while now. They need a good corners, good safety.
They're gonna have to pick a side of the ball that they're gonna work on though.
The famous words of Stephen A. Accident waiting to happen. I gotta say, accident waiting to happen. I'm just waiting.
I'm just saying.
Next year, I know. I think somebody gonna mess up.
Honestly, I think they'll be smarter to work on their defensive side of the ball. Offense is important, but defense wins championships. Work on their defensive side of the ball.
The defense kept them in the game last year. This offense couldn't do anything.
Defense did. But I think that I expect Dak to recover. I think what it was is that Dak was performing when he came back. He was doing fine. And
early in the season,
early in that season. Mm-hmm. And I think that Giants game, when he strained his calf, I think it had a bigger effect on him than what he wanted to say. Because that was the same foot that he broke that he strained that calf on. Mm-hmm. And I think since then, he
didn't have surgery since then.
Yeah. And so what I'm thinking is that he's going to come back. He's going to recover. He's going to be better. They're going to find a couple pieces to fill in that offensive line. They need that offensive line to be back in that top 5. Yeah, if they have a top 5 offensive line and they fix their defense and their defense is a top 10, top 5 defense, you're talking about a Super Bowl threat team because they have everything else.
They're going to need everything perfect. I'm going to be honest. I'm not as high on Dak as I used to be. I almost think they probably shouldn't even pay them. They probably should have traded them and got another quarterback in the draft. But we'll see. We'll see. Dak played good last year. After they paid him, he played good. But close to the end of the season,
I don't think they would get the value. And my deal is that I'm gonna be honest. The truth of the matter is that in a way, the way that they end up paying him was more about the fact that they owed him more money. Because if you think about those first 4 years, I think he made $12 million for the first 4 years on the first 4-year contract. And what it was that they had to pay the tax. They had to pay the tax. Had they renegotiated his contract in his 3rd year, you talking about he went and got as much money. But since they didn't do that, they had to franchise tag him. They didn't pay him his money, and now they reset the market, right? Yeah, so what's the name? Reset the market is getting paid
Deshaun.
a ridiculous amount of money out of Kansas City. And so then you like, well, what y'all gonna do? And even then, he got paid $75 million in guaranteed money. But when you looked at the way that they did that contract, they actually did it so that they moved some money out of the way and save money on the draft where it looked like, I think it's like he only is counting against like $22 million against the cap. So I know he got paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, but it wasn't like he didn't earn the money that he got.
He definitely earned it. Dak is the leader on the team. Dak is even more than McCarthy is to me.
There's very few quarterbacks I wouldn't have took Deshaun because of all his issues, and there's nobody else outside of maybe what's his name in Green Bay But Green Bay, well, it was going to be hard to get him out of Green Bay.
You want to take Deshaun over Dak?
But I had an opinion. I had an opinion about that. About that lets you know that lets you know right there how much talent that he has. If a team was willing to risk paying him all that money and him, have the consequences that he could possibly get.
Well, more, yeah.
That lets you know.
But that's also really, I'm gonna be honest, that's also really shows you how much lack of faith they had in Baker Mayfield. I honestly think that was more of
that's why he wanted to be traded.
A Baker Mayfield issue than it was a him issue, because they're like, we're good enough that we should be competing for the Super Bowl if we just have a quarterback. That was their mentality.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I'm saying, like, Dak is better than Baker Mayfield to me. And so it wouldn't have been worth, in my opinion, it wouldn't have been worth taking on the risk of getting somebody in Dallas that we don't know if he's going to be there. We don't know if he's going to be out. And we're trying to do it this year. Like, we're trying to make that move this year. At one point, I did think about it.
But I'm not talking now, because I don't see any quarterbacks now that would be worth it. I'm talking about that draft with Trevor Lawrence, quarterback for Chicago, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance.
Yeah.
I think if they would have got rid of Dak and moved up in that draft and got one of those kids, man, I think we'd be a lot better off by now. But now, it's too late.
That's true. That's true. But the problem is that you didn't know what you didn't know at that time. So it's kind of hard. It's like, do we get Trevor Lawrence? But we got Dak that was here, been performing good, was doing really good.
Yeah.
And we're gonna throw him out. We're gonna throw him out. And then remember when the season that he got hurt, he was still performing, and people loved Dak. Yeah. And I think Jerry is, if nothing else, Jerry is a showman. Jerry, to throw Dak out after one injury and after everything else that he had did, he would have looked so bad.
He would have looked bad.
People would have been, it would have looked absolutely horrible.
He would have looked bad. I'll admit that.
And so don't get me wrong, I thought about it too. At first, to be honest with you, before the 22 women came up, and Deshaun was talking about he wanted to get traded, I was like, you know what? We probably could trade Dak for Deshaun. I'd
love to have him.
I was thinking that. I was like, I would take Deshaun for Dak. And if you give over the AFC.
Right. And see, here's the thing with that. And you just mentioned the conference. Getting to the Super Bowl in the NFC is going to be a lot easier than getting into the Super Bowl in the AFC, just because of the level of competition that's the young talent that's in the AFC versus, because the NFC name in the AFC, I can name 5 quarterbacks off the bat. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, and all those 5 they're all young. Now name the quarterbacks in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers, Dak.
All right, y'all. Let's go. I know. Real quick, and we're gonna move on because we've been here for a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Land the plane.
Dak, Garoppolo, no, he's not that good.
No, it's Brady.
It was Russell Wilson, but now he went over to the AFC. So
it's Aaron Rodgers, Brady, and Dak, and Wentz.
No.
Oh, no.
Brady is AFC.
No. The cat from
is that NFC?
That's NFC.
That's NFC. Okay, that's right.
Tampa Bay's NFC. So
but I'm missing LA. What's the guy from LA? The quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
Stafford. Yeah.
So it's Brady, Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and then Dak and the Arizona's what's
Murray.
But He played good for the first half of the season, but that little body give out after that second half. He only stay so many.
But how many out of all of those, besides Murray, the rest of them, you're not getting 10 more years out of them.
No.
You're not. But we all know the AFC is loaded. The AFC got all the fire right now, right? So they everybody. But yeah, so that's
But the NFC has won the past 2 Super Bowls.
That's true.
I'm done.
That's true. So we'll see.